I already put my face and eye on, so I put foundation and primer. I'll be listing the products below just so you guys know. So first I'm starting with texture on my eyes. I had my fluffy brush that was not clean, so I used this tinier brush, which was fine. I just love the bigger fluffy brush. So if you see me having a hard time, that's why. Also, my bangs, yeah, that's hard to get out of the way. I'm not going to pin them back. I'm not going to put a bobby pin on it because my hair is so thin that it'll bend. So I'll do my best to keep my bangs out of the way as much as I can. I used to have bangs once and a girl was like, just pin your bangs back. No, it'll pin, it'll like crease and it's awful. Anyways, I'm using Phloof on my lids. I hardly ever use Phloof. It's a very high shine, pigmented kind of like almost off white pink. And I'm blending that on the edges with that other brush that I used. Now really fast, because it's so boring for me to watch and for you to watch, I don't know, is my brows. I'm using the Ash Brown Pencil by NYX. Wasn't that satisfied with them. Now I'm using Red Brick by MAC on the crease, on the outer crease. Really, the eyeshadows don't matter that much. I just think the lighter that you have it, the dots will show better on your liner. So if you're doing this look and you're kind of thinking about what eyeshadow to put down, I think it's a good idea to put down an eyeshadow. Just put something that's light so that the shadows will show, so that the dots will show a little bit more, because when it's in a white background, it'll show better. Now for my concealer, I'm using the LA Girl one. This is, I believe, in Pure Beige or Creamy Beige. I go between both of them. They're like the same to me. I put a little bit down my nose because it does accentuate the top. And then I always put some right there in the nose because my area there, it always gets red. And I think it's because I wipe my nose a lot, but I always just want to put a little extra something there. And so I'm blending it out with my Beauty Blender. And then also at the very edge of the face, to blend it a little bit better, I use the butt of the Beauty Blender like so, and I blend that with the foundation that I had on before. So that's my biggest, that's what I love to do, is just to blend that a little bit easier with the butt of the Beauty Blender. Now I'm using the Laura Mercier powder just to dust a little bit underneath my eyes to prevent the concealer from creasing. I usually don't ever have a problem with this concealer, which is awesome. So I'm using a very tiny brush. The actual gel liner that I use is MAC Blacktrack. It's just really creamy and it moves better than like a pen or a liquid liner would. And this brush is ideal for this because it's kind of flexible, but it's very short, so it lets me get really close to the dot. So some tips that I have for you guys. Okay, the biggest thing that I did that was most important, I think, was the first dot. Figure out where in your eyeball you want it to land. Like, is it by the pupil? Is it by the iris? Whatever. And then move outwards from there. Keep in mind though, if you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at one direction. So, one direction. So you're looking towards the left or the right. So just keep that in mind when you're making the dots, that they're going to be exact based on what direction you're looking at. Then move outwards from there and then do it alternating. It just will give you a better idea of where you're going, how much space to put in between them. The other thing too to keep in mind is that your eye shapes for the most part are uneven. I don't think I've ever come across a girl where I'm not clipping one or the other lashes, false lashes, because that everyone's eyes are uneven. So just keep that in mind, that they're not going to be perfect at the very edge of your eyes. One might be a little bit further out than one of the dots, I mean. So like for instance, this one's like right at the edge of my eyeball, or actually of my eyelash line, and this one's a little bit further out. So that just happens with everyone's eyes. They're not completely symmetrical. And then I did an awful job of doing the inside part of this and filming it because none of it captured. So I do the same thing as in the middle. Same thing, I didn't do that great of a job with this either, but I just put one in the very center of the bottom lash line. I should have curled my lashes before, but whatever. Now I'm using my favorite mascara. This is the Lash Stiletto from L'Oreal. I'm still not familiar with the name of it, so I'll put it down below. But I'm making sure I'm putting that all over my lashes. For my contour and blush, I'm using the color Shadester and Cantaloupe. So this brush I didn't talk about in my favorites, which I should have. Anyways, this brush is a complexion brush from e.l.f. It's an oldie, but I love it so much. I can't stop. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention too, when you're putting blush or contour on your forehead. The reason I'm doing this is because it's still windy outside. It's still, my bangs blow up in the air, and I still want to make sure that my face is looking even when that happens, just to take precaution. So I'm making sure I'm putting that all over my cheekbones. And then with a smaller brush, I put a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Because my nose is fairly small and it has a small bridge, I do want to accentuate it just a tiny bit. Not necessarily to make my nose look smaller or thinner, just to really bring out the fact that I have a nose. With this blush brush, I believe it's a blush brush, I'm using this on my cheeks with the Cantaloupe blush. I like these peachier blushes the best. They're my favorite. I try to get everybody on it. Now with the highlight. Oh shoot, I didn't show it. Anyways, the highlight that I was using is Soft and Gentle. It's by MAC and it's very frosty. I thought it went well with the eyeshadow that I used on my eyes. But then I wanted to make sure I cut my bottom cheekbone, so you can do that with the edge of your beauty blender with the remainder of the foundation that was on there. So I really liked the way this highlighter looked, but I did need a little bit more extraness because I kind of was, I don't know, I think it was just my hair wasn't fixed yet and I wasn't feeling it. So what I did is I sprayed that with some L'Oreal spray, and that just made the highlighter a little bit more shinier, wet looking, and just super slick and a little bit more special, I would say. For the eyelashes, I'm going to do it off camera, but these are the 120. They're very pixelated. I already put that on, and then I also used Typographic on the bottom lash line just to kind of tie that look together and also make my eyes look a little bit doughy. Then I'm using this extra blush. This is very similar to some of the MSF blushes that MAC carries, so I chose to use one of these. I can't remember the name. It'll be down in the description. And then I just took a few minutes just to fix my hair because, girl, it is really hard to maintain short hair, but it gives me a reason to keep it down, which is why I love having shorter hair. And it also has more body, and I just think it's cute. So give me a second. All right, now I'm just putting a little bit a little bit more mascara on my bottom lashes to make them look even to the top ones. And this is just the voluminous one from L'Oreal. For my lip liner, I'm using the color Stone. This is the one that I was talking about in my favorites. I really like the way this looked. So Stone lip liner is, I don't love the lipsticks. The lipstick, it's like very gray, like a stone color. But as a perimeter, it gives me just that nice line, that lip line that's not necessarily peach or brown. It's just kind of like there. It almost reminds me of Pamela Anderson lips, how she used to line her lips with like a very dark color, very 90s. Now this lipstick is half and half. Half and half is one of my favorite lipsticks ever. So I'm doing that all over the lips and a little bit over the lip line. The color underneath from Stone is going to show through just enough to show that there's something unique about the color, because without it, it looks, it blends in a little bit more on my skin. All right, guys, I hope you guys loved it. Let me know if you try this out. If you do, and if you put it on Instagram, tag me so I can comment on it. I would love to. Bye, guys.